Hi everyone, my name is Robert and you're watching That's the Movie. So today I'll be reviewing Gravity. Gravity, I've been looking forward to this movie. Alright, it's directed by Alfonso-Hidalgo. He directed Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and Children of Men. And I really liked those movies. That was probably my favorite Harry Potter. And Children of Men was probably just one of the best sci-fi movies I have. Yeah, sort of sci-fi. More like dystopian society movies, but either way, it's probably one of the best movies that I've seen ever. It was just amazing. And he's famous for all these one-shot type things where it's just like one fluid scene. Amazing. I went to go see this movie in IMAX in 3D, and let me just tell you, okay, the 3D was amazing. I've never seen any 3D better than that, and I think Pacific Rim is probably the only movie that the 3D comes close to this movie. So, let's get started with this movie on the plot. So, it's a pretty straightforward plot. What happens is, these American astronauts, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, are doing some repairs on a satellite. And a Russian satellite sort of just blows up or something after a missile launch. And the debris is caught in Earth's orbit, and it starts orbiting around Earth where all the other satellites are, including the American ones, the Chinese, and the International Space Station. So it's all there, and then the debris hits where George Clooney and Sandra Bullock's characters are fixing a satellite and destroys it, and then they're stranded out there in space, and they have to find a way to get back to Earth. That's it. That's what the movie is. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple, and it worked. Okay, it had me on the edge of my seat the whole movie. In fact, there was this one guy who was like sitting next to me in the theater who was standing like this. He was just standing. He could not sit down in the movie. I was like, it really had you on the edge of your seat. It's crazy. It was very good. So now let's get into the directing. You know, I really like this director. Alfonso-Hidalgo is an amazing director. Very underrated, and at least I think he is. But he's very, very, very good. And every time he has a project, I know lots of people look forward to it. So, just to tell you, if this movie doesn't at least win the Oscar for Best Directing, I lose faith in the Academy. Seriously, because this whole movie deserves an Oscar for everything. The editing, the music, the acting, the sound design, the special effects, the directing, it's all just amazing. Cinematography, Jesus Christ. This whole movie was just, like, perfect. It was great. It was amazing. I loved it. But anyways, did it have anything bad to it? I couldn't really see any faults in the directing at all. And it felt like the whole movie was probably 10 consecutive shots. That's what it was. It was just very fluid shots, where it was one whole shot for like probably 10-15 minutes. And this movie was about an hour and a half, so, you know, do the math. It was great. It was, I could barely even tell when it was already cut from a different scene, where it was edited, it was different, it wasn't filmed like one fluid shot, and it was just so great. And even the special effects, my gosh, I could barely even tell the difference between the CGI or just the actors behind green screen or something like that. It was really awesome. I really need to know how they even did this whole space scene, how it was, if it's mostly voiceover from like Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, but it was just really good. The special effects just amazing. That deserves an Oscar alone, or at least to be nominated. This whole script. So, you know, the dialogue, there isn't a lot of dialogue in between characters because, you know, it's just Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, and a few times, you know, they have mission control in Houston. But it was good. It was funny. There was very funny moments, actually. It was a lot funnier than I would assume. And George Clooney's character was hilarious too. He was very funny, and it all felt human. All these characters, like, they had their own personalities. They were not just, you know, put there for the hell of it, just to have in the movie. They didn't really feel like they had anything to them. Even the very minor characters, and granted, there's not a lot of characters in this movie, felt like extremely human. Even the ones that didn't speak English. You'll find out what I'm talking about. But it was just really good. It wasn't a lot, you know, for the script, but it was good. It was well done. Now, let's get into the acting. So Sandra Bullock was just amazing. You know, she was spectacular. I think she won an Oscar for The Blind Side, and I definitely think she should be nominated this year because she did a fantastic job. It was a great job. I really have no flaws with her performance. I didn't see anything bad with it. everyone. I mean, even George Clooney did a fantastic job too. Just, he usually plays the type of characters he usually plays, and it's what he did in this movie. And it was still just amazing. I really just loved it. Fantastic job from the cast. The whole cast was just great. And I definitely think she should be at least nominated for an Oscar for Best Leading Female Role. Oh man, and the music, the whole score. Gosh, the whole soundtrack for this movie was just ridiculously good. It was crazy. I just loved it. It was done by Stephen Price, I think it was. I never really heard of him before. But this was great. Great job. I can't wait to actually get that soundtrack. I want to like buy it or something, or have it like framed, or buy like a vinyl record if they have one of those, because it was just great. I love the soundtrack. I think that's pretty much it for this movie. It was a great movie. I really recommend you go see it, and especially in IMAX and 3D, because this is a 3D masterpiece. Okay, this is a movie you should go see in 3D, and a humongous screen with really awesome audio. Great movie to see in 3D. I'm not kidding this. Okay, this is a movie worth seeing in 3D. Some movies are not, and this one is worth it. But you guys can follow me on Twitter, as well as Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram at TheRealRobertAH. And you can check out my column at the Sasha Marina Show. And that's the movie. Because it was just amazing. Great. Because it was just good job. A good damn job.